Welcome to Loud and Lifted Quick Lift, where I recap a full episode by pulling out the key takeaways and give you a few action items you can actually use this week. Today's recap is from a conversation with Roxy Couse, who is known for her hard truths, and this episode was no exception. If you were sold that great work speaks for itself, then this episode is for you. Because guess what? It doesn't. It never has. And Roxy names exactly why. Today, I'm pulling out 4 truths from that conversation and giving you one thing to do with each of them this week. Truth number 1, hard work isn't the strategy, it's the price of admission. Roxy said something in the episode that I kept coming back to. She said, hard work gets you more work. It does not get you more opportunity. Let that sit for a second. Because if you're anything like the women I know and the women I coach, you were raised on the opposite. You were told to put your head down, do the work, be excellent, and someone will just notice. And then you put your head down, you did the work, and you were excellent. And what happened? You got more work. Not the promotion, not the stretch role, not even a seat at the table. Here's the sting in what Roxy is saying that's not a glitch, that the system's working exactly as designed. The person who delivers quietly becomes the person you give more to because they can make your life easier. And they don't ask for anything in return. Being good at your job is the cover charge. It's not the night. You don't get celebrated for paying the cover. You pay to get in. Now you actually have to do something once you're in the room. So the action this week, write down 3 specific wins from last month. Not vague things, specific. What got faster because of you, or cleaner, or cheaper? What problem did you solve that nobody else was solving? Write them down and hold on to them because I'm going to ask you to use them in a minute. Hard truth number 2. If you're invisible, you're not in the conversation. Visibility is one of those words that gets a bad rap, especially with women, because the second someone says you need to be more visible, we hear you need to be louder. You need to self-promote. You need to be the person in every meeting saying, look at me, look at me. That is not what visibility means, and Roxy is the proof. She's an introvert. She's not the loudest person in any room she's ever been in. Her version of visibility was one-on-one. It was deliberate conversations with the right people about the right work at the right time. Quiet, specific, repeated. And that counts. And that counts just as much as the person who's holding court and all the high hands, and actually sometimes more. And here's what I'll add for my CEO seat. I've spent a lot of years on the other side of those rooms, the rooms where promotion decisions get made, where succession plans get drawn, where someone says, we need someone for this role. Who do we have? And I'll tell you what happens in those rooms. Good people get passed over constantly, not because they aren't good, because nobody in that room can speak to their work. If the only person who knows what you're doing is your manager, and your manager isn't in the room or not part of the conversation, you're a name on the list, and that's it. Visibility isn't a personality trait, it's a logistics problem. Who knows your work? How recently? And in what detail? Action, not going to be surprised here, but pick one visibility habit you'll still be doing in 3 months. Just one, not 5. Not a whole content strategy, just one thing. Maybe it's a monthly coffee with a cross-functional partner, a quarterly note to a senior leader summarizing what your team did, a standing 15-minute walk and talk with someone 2 levels up. One thing that's just sustainable. The point isn't to be everywhere. The point is to be somewhere consistently. Hard truth number 3, your manager cannot be your whole career. This one I want to take my time on. Roxy's line was, don't let your manager get in the way of your career. And the first time I heard her say it, I had a very specific memory flash. Early in my career, I had a boss who liked me. Genuinely, she liked me. She said good things about me in rooms I wasn't in, and she definitely tried to advocate for me, and nothing happened. For a long time, nothing happened, and I couldn't figure out why. I knew I was doing the work, and I felt I had the exposure, and I had her sponsorship. And then one day it clicked. It wasn't that she wasn't advocating for me. It was that her advocacy wasn't worth anything in the building. She wasn't respected by her peers. She wasn't seen as a strong judge of talent. So when she said my name, and she did say my name, it didn't carry. It was just noise. That was a hard lesson because she was a good person. She was trying, and her trying could not move the needle because she didn't have the standing in the building. So here's the rule that I took from that, and Roxy said a version of it in this episode. A manager's advocacy is worth exactly their standing in the building. No more, no less.
If that person speaking your name is respected, your name carries. If they're not, your name evaporates, which means one person, any one person, as your only path to opportunity is a single point of failure. It doesn't matter how much they love you. It doesn't matter how good they are. One person doesn't work. You need more than one person in the building who can speak to your work, not because your manager is bad, but because life is uncertain. Managers leave, reorgs happen, companies change priorities, politics shift. The person who was your champion 6 months ago can be marginalized tomorrow, and you didn't even see it coming. Action, remember those 3 wins I asked you to write down? Pull them out. Now, I want you to pick one senior person outside your reporting line, outside your manager's chain, who should know about your work. It could be a peer of your manager's, someone 2 levels up in a different function, someone whose opinion carries weight in your building. And I want you to get one of those wins in front of them this month, not as politics, just as ownership. You own your career. Your manager's a piece of it, but not all of it. Truth 4, you cannot outwork a bad boss. This is one I really want you to think about because this is the one that I see costing women the most, time and time again. When you're working for a bad boss, and I don't mean a boss who's annoying or has a different style than you, I mean like a bad boss, someone who is undermining you, taking credit for your work, isolating you from the rest of the organization, or just chaotic enough that you cannot do your job. When you're working for that person, the instinct is just to work harder. Because we've been trained that the answer to every workplace problem is more effort. If you just deliver harder, perform better, exceed expectations more thoroughly, eventually the situation will resolve itself. The bad boss, they'll see your value, or someone above the bad boss will see your value, or the work will speak for itself and you'll get pulled up and out. Roxy's right. You cannot outwork it. I have watched brilliant women burn themselves down to the studs trying to outwork a bad boss. And what it takes from them is not just the job, it takes their confidence, it takes their sleep, it takes their read on their own competence. Because when you're working twice as hard and getting half the recognition, after a while you start to believe the problem must be you. Because what else could it be? It's not you. The work environment is the variable. You are the constant. If you were brilliant 6 months ago and you feel like an imposter now, that variable, that change is not you. It's the room you're in. The question I want you to ask yourself, and Roxy asked a version of this is this role stretching me or is it shrinking me? Hard grows you, harmful just costs you. There is a difference, and you know the difference. You feel the difference in your body, and you feel the difference every Sunday night. Action, if the honest answer is that the role is shrinking you, start building the exit ramp now. Quietly, not dramatically. Update the resume. Reach out to 2 people in your network this month. Take 1 informational call. You're not quitting tomorrow. You're creating options because options are what give you leverage. Desperate is not a negotiation position. The day you have somewhere else you could go is the day everything about your current situation changes, even if you never leave. Here's what I want you to walk away with. Your career is yours. It's not your manager's. It's not your company's. It's not your skip levels. It's yours. And ownership is not optional. Ownership does not mean be fake. It does not mean be loud for just the sake of being loud. It doesn't mean play politics. It means stop waiting. Stop waiting for the system to be fair. Stop waiting to be noticed. Stop waiting for the right manager to come along and save you. Start being deliberate. The challenge from this episode, and I mean this, is 1 move this week. Not all 4, 1. Pick the truth that landed the hardest and do that action for that 1. That's it. Roxy's truth, the one underneath all 4 of these, is that no one is coming to save your career. And I know how that sounds. It sounds cold. It sounds like a slap, but I want you to hear it the way she meant it and the way I'm telling it to you now. It's the opposite of cold. Because the day you really believe it, the day you stop waiting to be saved, is the day your career actually becomes yours. Go listen to the full conversation with Roxy. There's so much more in there I could have put into 10 minutes, including the specific script she uses, the moment she changed her own playbook, and the conversation about what to do when you're the only one in the room who looks like you. Link to the full episode in the show notes. Until next time, stay loud and stay lifted.